What's up, guys? Python here, and welcome back to Mets Talk. I'm Evan, of course, here with Nico, as always. And today we're going to be discussing a couple things. We're going to recap the series against the Colorado Rockies, recap Old Timers Day, since that was also this past weekend, as well as preview the Dodgers series with a nice off day here. Thank God, because I personally needed the off day myself. I couldn't stand watching another series, especially after last night's game, which we will talk about. And I'm sure the players needed this off day as well. But before we jump into anything, be sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this and subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Met fans, because we have Mets content all around, whether it's myself or the podcast, as well as turn on your notifications so you know when we upload the podcast. And if you're listening on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, wherever, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Unless you're going to be negative, then unless it's constructive criticism, we'll take that. But don't be an asshole.
Oh yeah, if you're just rude, just go away.
Yeah, then we don't want it. But as you can see above, I decided to finally just add it here so I don't have to put it on or whatever. But we are brought to you by Manscape, of course. Manscape, they're the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's performance package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. It includes everything that you need. The Lawnmower 4.0. It includes deodorant for your balls. It includes it includes the nose trimmer, the weed whacker, includes boxers. It includes every single thing that you need. A travel bag too, even that you could put everything all in one and keep the package safe and keep your package safe as well. So join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use code Python at the checkout page, as well as check out TickPick. If you're looking to head to a game, TickPick is the way to go. And you could click the link in the description to help me out. And you're helping yourself out because there are no fees at the checkout page. So go check them out. But Nico, how are you feeling, especially because you were in the building for the one game they lost too?
Oh my god, that game! I don't even want to talk about that game, but we're gonna have to later on, of course. But overall, I think you got to be satisfied. You took 3 out of 4 against the Rockies. I think we said last podcast when we were previewing it, we would take 3 out of 4. We did that. The Cardinals did their job on the Braves, and we gained a game. I believe, right? We gained a game on them in the division in the series. Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy about that. So we're gonna recap these games now. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good.
See, that's what stings though for me is that if
We
they
could
just
have gained
won
another
that
one.
game, yeah, we could be up by 4, and that would be really huge, especially with the series coming up because the Dodgers are no slouch, which we'll get to them. But in terms of this Rocky series, yeah, starting off, I thankfully was at this game 1 where they ended up winning. Granted, I was not necessarily thrilled being in that building because I was not necessarily happy with the performance of the Mets this entire series. But Jacob deGrom, glad I finally got to watch him pitch in person again, and thank God I could say no, or I don't have to say anymore that the last start that I went to see Jacob deGrom in person was his worst start of his career because that start against the Chicago Cubs in 2017, he allowed like 7 runs, awful. So thankfully, don't have that, and I'm not bad luck for deGrom. deGrom ended up going 6 innings in this one, had 9 strikeouts, and allowed 3 hits, only 1 earned run, and that ended up being a home run from Ryan McMahon. But outside of that, I mean, deGrom was pretty much unhittable.
Yep, DeGrom with another very good start once again. We've just seen him ever since he's been back. He's just the same old Jacob deGrom, which we know the Mets really wanted that, and they're going to get it. So, yeah, besides the home run to Ryan McMahon, he was stellar in this game as per usual.
Yeah, and he had a no hitter going through 4 innings, and my friend just had to text me that deGrom had a no hitter, and because before the game, um, a little bit of a sour note, but earlier in the day, my dog ended up passing, so I ended up putting on my Snapchat story a picture of my dog saying "rest easy," and my friend replies that saying "deGrom's throwing a no hitter tonight in honor of your dog," and I'm just like, I hope so. And then through 4, he had to send the text like, "Looking good so far." I'm like, you idiot, you idiot! Why did you
Terrible,
do
man.
that? And then the next inning, he allows a hit, and I straight up text you. I say, "Fuck you." That's what I texted.
Gotta let the
And
emotions out there.
yeah, I was pissed off, but I will take a no hitter through 4 innings, and I'll take the outing that we got. People said that he looked a bit off. I personally don't think so. I mean, the velocity did kind of dip down a bit towards the end here, which was a little concerning. But overall, I mean, he still pitched a great game, and I'm not going to complain at all with that.
Yep, he had a really good game, 9 strikeouts. I think, he's going to go again in this Dodgers series. That'll be a real good test for him. But again, I think he's going to be phenomenal as he always is. No matter who's out there hitting, I think just deGrom, he's one of the most unhittable pitchers I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's unreal what we get to watch every 5 days. And in terms of the Mets offense for this game, they pretty much only the third inning was the time that they got anything going. Yeah, back-to-back singles from Nido and Nimmo. And then Marte ended up getting that put out there, and that had runners on the corners. Lindor ends up getting a productive out there. And then Pete Alonso ends up going yard, and which was huge for him because obviously we know the slump that he's kind of been in, and to get that home run, absolutely huge. And that made it a 3-0 game. And that was pretty much it from there on out. Seth Lugo had to make a sweat, of course, a bit, allowing 2 hits and a walk, loading up the bases, but ended up getting 3 strikeouts, and he got lucky with one of those calls. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was that on the second out or
I forgot which. It was either the first or the second. I know that just because the inning wasn't over.
right?
But I mean that the umpire that game was just awful in general. I mean, for the most part, the series too. There was a lot of outside pitches being called a strike. It was just bad umping.
Definitely.
And like Buck said, it's time for the robo umps. And I know people are against it, but
yeah, very controversial. But I think it has to be installed here. I think it will within the next few years down the line. But yeah, something we're gonna have to see.
yeah, I completely agree. And then Diaz ends up coming in. You're probably hoping in this scenario that you're going to get the 6-out save. Unfortunately, he had a bit of extra work to do because he allowed a walk and a hit. Again, bad umping on that count that ended up being a walk. So could have been less pitches for Diaz, but thankfully he got through that. And either way, getting him to go against the top of the order, letting Ottavino handle the bottom part of the order made sense. Ottavino shut the door in this one. Not much really else to talk about this game. 3-1 game, kind of a boring game. To be completely honest, there wasn't a whole lot. I guess we got to give a little bit of props to Tyler Naquin, who picked up 2 hits because it's a rare occasion for that guy.
Oh, it really is. Yeah, Naquin got a couple solid. I believe both were base hits in that one. But yeah, besides that, he's just nothing special and a really questionable pickup for the Mets. He can't be seen in the field that oftenly as. I mean, I understand it now, but like down the line, the Mets are definitely gonna have to, their 3 outfielders and Marte, Nemo, and then if you want to DH Cano, do that. But yeah, Naquin, it's just not been a good answer for the Mets.
Nope, not at all. And with the Dodgers series, we'll talk about another Met that hasn't really been great coming up there. But for the second game, this game was
a crazy one.
The definition of chaotic. I don't even know where to start. I wanted to start going right into Michael Givens, but we won't start there. Mets end up scoring in the third inning. Brett Beatty getting a home run on the first pitch that he sees, his first home run at Citi Field. Nice to see Beatty get something going a bit because it looked like for a bit he was struggling, but a lot of great contact and it paid off here. Ends up getting that home run. And then the Mets ended up adding further runs in the 5th inning as Marte got a 2 RBI triple there to make it a 3-0 game. And it's about time the Mets actually capitalize on a leadoff hit by the pitch there. And Mark Hanna also got to give him credit here. He ended up taking the throne for most hit by pitches for the Mets this year, dethroning Nimmo there. So not a great stat if you're Mark Hanna, but sure a fun one, I guess. But 6th inning, I was surprised to see Bassett stay in the game as long as he did, but this is when the Rockies ended up adding some runs in. He allows a leadoff single, walks Ryan McMahon on 4 pitches, and then allows a double to Rogers, and that ended up making it a 3-2 game. And then CJ Cron tied the game with an RBI single. Bassett thankfully got out of it without allowing any other problems. So still close game. then Marcana ends up giving us the lead right back with a RBI double, make it 4-3. And then the 8th inning.
It's the best part.
Where do we begin?
Oh.
Blackman gets a single, and that brought in good old Michael Givens. Good old Michael Givens. And oh boy, with this guy. Allows a single to CJ Crone, loads the bases up, gets a strikeout. You're feeling good. 2 outs in the inning. All right. And then Elias Diaz, an RBI double
Rips
for him,
one in the gap.
makes it a 6-4 game, and he's getting rained with boos off the field.
Oh yeah, those boos were definitely pretty deserved. I would say that he's just been a terrible acquisition for the Mets. Nothing we expected at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were freaking jumping for joy when we picked up Michael Givens, but we expected a lot better than this.
Yeah, and you looked at the numbers, you saw the 2.3-4 ERA, whatever it was attached to him, and you're like, all right, nice little pickup. And holy crap, has he been the opposite of a nice little pickup for the Mets. He has been just catastrophic to the point where he's probably the mop-up guy at this point. And it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why is it this way? You think he'd pitch better in Citi Field considering how difficult it is to hit there, but my God, has he just been catastrophic. A 9.58 ERA now with the Mets. And after this, though, it was like a 10 point something. Just he ended up getting another appearance in this series here. But my God, I'm worried. I'm worried with Michael Givens. But thankfully, the Mets decided, you know what, we're not going to let the Met fans go home pissed off. And they ended up getting, and it's Marcana again, of all people, getting an RBI double to tie the game up at 6, driving in Ruff and McNeil. And we're lucky that Darren Ruff caught a break there with that error from Ryan McMahon, because otherwise we're talking about a loss right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got lucky there that McMahon bobbled it there. Went past him into the outfield, I believe it went. And then McNeil, of course, comes up with a clutch hit. And then Canna, he's just been so clutch for the Mets recently. Just ripping one down that third base line. McNeil was flying around those bases, getting from first to home. So we tied it up there, and it was electric in the building for sure.
Yeah, Mark Canna's, I forgot who it was that said on Twitter, but I sent my video too. He's becoming Wilmer Flores like here lately with these clutch moments. And then bottom of the 9th, thankfully, well, Diaz came in and made things just so easy. Looked like what we usually see from him. He allowed a little bit of a fluky double, but not going to fault anyone there. Pete thankfully didn't break his ankles there, because my God, the little sidestep he had to do there scared me. But the Mets in the bottom of the 9th, Vogie comes in the pitch hit for McCann, and James McCann is going to be the catcher in the postseason now that Alvarez is done for the year. But Nimmo and Marte end up getting on base from walking. Marte hit by a pitch, the usual with the Mets.
Nothing
and
new.
then Pete Alonso with a single to win the Mets the game. And thank God, hallelujah, because this was way too close for comfort.
Yeah, I got nervous in this one for sure. It was looking good, and then, of course, Michael Givens caused a lot of problems. And then even Chris Bassett in the 6th inning, he gave up some runs there. But overall, pretty solid outing, I would say, for him. He stayed in the game long. I agree with you there. I was surprised by that. Then the Mets make a huge rally like we've seen multiple times this year. I was upset when Lindor didn't get that ball down. And with one out there in the 9th, it looked like we were walking it off right there. We didn't. But then Pete Alonso coming really clutch, which we love to see from him, because he's been slumping recently, but now he's starting to pick it up once again.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's nice to see that he is. And my guess is there was a correlation between Peterson going tomorrow and why Bassett ended up getting pushed the amount of innings he did. He ended up going 7 1/3 here in this one. So glad that he was able to eat a good amount of innings for us. And then Michael Givens, of course, had to make us sweat. And granted, there was really no one else that you could have brought in that spot that would have been any better. We know that this bullpen is just awful. Edwin Diaz, like we said, made things easy. And terms of the lineup very solid in this one. I mean, Marquand and Jeff McNeil leading the way there. Pete with 2 hits on the day. Even Chase McCann was producing, which we were clowning McCann, but you know what? He actually produced in this game, got 2 hits. So yeah, overall the offense looked good this game. Unfortunately, the last 2 games of the series, though, not too sharp. They ended up winning game 3. You had David Peterson going against Kyle Freeland, and I was hoping for 5 from Peterson, and he gave us 6, so that definitely made things great. Picked up 7 strikeouts, only allowed 4 hits, and also the Mets pitching staff, not 1 walk allowed this entire game, so got to give them credit there. The bullpen has been looking better. Lugo with a very great outing. Trevor May with a great outing too, and then Ottavino ended up picking up the save. So weird that he goes from pretty much no saves at all. He went from no saves at all with the Mets to now having 2. But the Mets got their offense going very early. Brandon Nimmo with a leadoff home run, and that got the Mets on the board nice and early. And I'm feeling good when they're up early. Nimmo then with an RBI double. He ended up getting another at bat just in the 2nd inning and made it a 2-0 game. Brandon Nimmo kind of carried the offense here. 7th inning, Marte got an RBI double, and there's not much else really to talk about with the offense. The offense was quiet this entire game.
Yeah, nothing really going on either side, but just a good win for the Mets. Brandon Nimmo, as you said, he was carrying the load this game, bringing in 2 runs, starting us off with the leadoff homer. And then David Peterson, you got to give that guy props. He's been very good, giving us solid innings. And then, yeah, the bullpen did their job, actually, with Ottavino getting the save. And then you also had May and Lugo in the mix that had very good innings. So overall, just a very satisfying win for the Mets, who were looking for the sweep in game number 4, which we're going to talk about.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a second, sadly. But yeah, Trevor May, if he could be this Trevor May, I'm a fan. Also, Eduardo Escobar returned from the injured list in this game, and shockingly did absolutely nothing. I know, such a surprise. But yeah, Sanchez ended up getting DFA'd. I was a bit surprised that they didn't send Beatty down, just given the fact that he's looked shaky. But you know what? They're showing confidence in him, and maybe it's going to spark him a bit. And I mean, it kind of did the next game. He was one of the few Mets to get a hit. So we'll just move on to this absolute shit show that was game 4. Nico in the building, so he's probably feeling worse about this one. This definitely was deserving of a CVS trip.
Oh yeah,
and
hit it up right after the game. I mean, if this game didn't have a CVS trip written all over it, I don't know what the hell does.
Yeah, I mean, Max Scherzer, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. Can you say dominant? Because he was unreal. He was unreal. Ended up passing his former teammate Justin Verlander in strikeouts also, only because Justin Verlander had to leave his game early, but that's a different discussion. And would have been nice if he could have got his 200th career win today. And just like the Yankees game, he did not, but he actually looked good this game, unlike that Yankees game. Definitely a big bounce back game. And he kind of took shots in the post game at the offense, which I really liked, because he was asked about about passing. I forgot who he passed on the strikeout board outside of Verlander, but he was asked about it, and he's like, I don't care. I just wanted the team to win, and we failed to do that. So he took a bit of a shot at the offense there, which I liked. But in terms of the pitching, we'll quickly talk about them because they were far from the problem. Joely actually looked good in this game, which was nice. Michael Givens looked horrendous again, but you know what? He got through the inning, and even then, it would not have mattered. And we're lucky that he got that pickoff out, because we'd be talking about a 2 or 3-0 game. But this offense it's a joke. It's a joke.
This is a horrible game for the Mets, and I had to miserably be in the building for it. Your main Marquez, I don't know if it was something with him, but he was just not giving the Mets anything. Allowed 1 hit. That 1 hit was, I don't even know. Who was it?
Jeff McNeil.
It was McNeil, yeah.
They had 1 hit through 7 innings.
Yeah, pathetic outing from the Mets, to say the least here. And then, Max Scherzer pitched a gem, 11 strikeouts, as you said. And then we just can't score any runs for the guy. It's a common theme. But yeah, then it got ugly in that seventh inning, though, loading the bases, a couple cheap little ground balls down the third base line. Beatty tried to bare hand, but, it was too late, of course, by that point. Really weakly hit, so it was unfortunate. Honestly, they were lucky to get out of the inning with only one run. Bases were juiced, no outs. Naquin made a nice catch, threw it back in. But then, it was still unfortunate the Mets couldn't find a way to scrap out even one run in this game.
Yeah, and this is the type of game where you kind of wish that you had Luis Guillorme, because Lindor has been struggling and you would have liked to give him the day off. And you just don't have options. You are not playing Eduardo Escobar. No, hell no, you're not. And yeah, it sucks. And I thought in the ninth inning, I thought it had bases loaded, blue balls written all over it, but surprisingly not. But
Eduardo
it just goes
Escobar,
to show you that the Mets offense, Eduardo Escobar but he needs a map at the plate, and Pete was the only one to get a hit in the ninth, and I thought that it reeked of the Mets starting to get a little bit of a rally going. But overall, just a atrocious game. You could have gained ground here on the Braves, which makes it even more unfortunate. And especially because, like we said before, the series that is coming up, but very unfortunate to see the offense struggle in this one. And I don't know if their mind was set on the off day or what, but you gotta sweep a 4-game series against the Rockies. Considering the Braves did, you gotta do it yourself.
Yep, 100%. That really stung not to get the extra game. Now, of course, we're happy the Braves lost, but it hurts knowing you could have gained a game in the division and go 4 games than rather it being 3 because of that really bad loss yesterday. Now, who do the Braves have coming up actually themselves? I wanted to check that because we play the Dodgers.
They play the Rockies now.
Oh, yeah, so that's not good. They probably, in all honesty, will gain ground on us by the end of our respective series, but you never know, man.
Yeah, it sucks. Also, must be unfortunate though when your pitcher had a no-hitter going for a long time, and then all of a sudden you end up losing that game. Must be tough being the Atlanta Braves, and having Kenley Jansen blow that save in that other game must be tough. So thank you, Cardinals, for doing your part. Unfortunately, thanks to Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, and Tyler Naquin not showing up and spending the off day early, Mets couldn't win this game. So, yeah, very unfortunate. But we'll talk about something that is a little bit of a lighter note before we move on to the Dodgers series. The Mets had their old-timers game, and I loved it.
I hate to say it, but I was not able to catch this old timers game. I saw like a couple highlights of it, but yeah, it was terrible. I couldn't catch. I was busy, so I was upset I wasn't able to see it. So I want to hear from you, like some things about this. You'll definitely have more to say.
At least it's gonna be probably an annual thing now. I at least hope, but just seeing these players just finally be celebrated by the Mets, and you saw Ray Knight take shots at the Wilpons. Like, he openly even said their names too, and he was like, I like the Mets, I just don't like the Wilpons. Oh, we're right there with you. We're right there with you, Ray.
What an absolute legend.
That put a smile on my face. I just wish that other Met players kind of did the same thing, because deep down, I know some of them feel it. Like Daniel Murphy, come on. We know why you left the Mets, and part of it's because of the Wilpons. Come on,
no doubt.
Just open up. But we got a cool surprise. The Mets are going to be retiring number 24 for Willie Mays, and everyone that is not a Met fan is like, well, how are they doing that when he only played 2 seasons with the Mets? Because he was really good, number one, and number two, also, he is part of the reason that National League Baseball was so popular here. So the Mets are just celebrating that, since they brought National League Baseball back to New York. So, I'm glad that they did. Unfortunately, Robinson Cano is going to be the last Met to wear 24. But outside of that, I mean, very cool day seeing Bartolo Colon take the bump was absolutely fun. And he took that as a Mets tryout, but he was allowing a lot of hits. He didn't look good at all in his Mets little tryout there. But how about Mike Piazza going yard and batting practice? Mike Piazza also switched teams in the middle of the game. It was cool to watch this. I wish Keith and Ron ended up taking the field in this one. Unfortunately not, but this was definitely a fun game to watch. A lot of errors also from the defense, which was funny to see. But overall, yeah, very cool to see the Mets actually do something like this, because in years past, we know that they wouldn't.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seemed like a really cool thing for especially people that were there to witness it at Citi Field. Just bringing back all the old New York Mets. I'm not to say legends, because not all of them are legends, but just seeing all the old faces. All these guys had such great impact on our team. So to see them all come together, as you said, hopefully they do it like a yearly thing now to appreciate them, was pretty cool to say the least.
Yeah, and David Wright, you're old enough to be an old timer. Come on,
Oh yeah,
down the field next year.
hope so.
That would have been so cool to watch. Just you have Murphy at second, you have Reyes at short, Wright at third, and then where's Lucas Duda at? He's enough for me. Get him at first base. Give me some old vibes there. That would be nice to see, but unfortunately that didn't end up being the case. But yeah, I mean, just a quick little recap. I definitely was a fan of Old Timers Day. Unfortunately, couldn't watch the entire game, but it was definitely fun to see parts of it. But now we'll get back to the current Mets. I know, it's exciting, right? Because they get to play the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yes, I'm thrilled to play the Dodgers. Game 1, Taijuan Walker pitching. Game 2, which I'll be at that game. Game 2, deGrom. And then game 3 is... Who is game 3? Bassett?
Game 3 is... I don't think they have anyone lined up, but I would assume it has to be Bassett.
Yeah, which I... from the pitching standpoint, not too bad, but you look across the other side and you see the Dodgers have... I forgot who they are lining up. I know they...
Andrew Heaney, I believe.
Oh, yeah, Andrew Heaney, who's having a ridiculous year. Tyler Anderson, and then the last game is either going to be Kershaw if he's ready to go. If not, it's going to be Dustin May, which great.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, any option here for the Dodgers to trot out pitching is fantastic. So the Mets really have their hands full in this upcoming series. Let's hope for some magic, because Dodgers are not a fun team to face. We all know that.
I'd be happy with 1 of 2. I'd be happy with 1.
Wait, it's only 2 games?
Or 1 of 3, sorry.
Oh, 1 of 3, yeah. Yeah, I would honestly too, because just knowing our schedule is quite a cakewalk after that, I would honestly be fine with 1 out of 3. Just don't get swept.
Yeah, and the offense needs to show up. I'm sick and tired of this garbage with the offense. You did nothing against the Rockies. You did nothing against the Yankees. So that's why I have little to no confidence when it comes to the series with them winning. But prove me wrong, please, for the love of God. I need you to. But I have very little faith, if I'm being completely honest. And all I can do is just hope that I'm wrong.
Yep. They only scored 3 runs twice against the Rockies. Got shut out yesterday. As we know, the Yankees only put up a couple runs apiece. And now the Dodgers are a whole nother ball game. So the Mets offense really has to get in a groove here, especially we're about to be in the last month of the regular season. Well, actually, they do play a couple of games in October, but basically September is the last month of the regular season. This team has to get hot going into the playoffs with their bats, or else that's going to be a huge issue for the Mets. And, they live off kind of the base hit game, a couple doubles here and there. I want to see more home runs for this team. I feel like we haven't been seeing a lot of that either recently.
If only they add a difference maker back to do something like that, huh? But Yeah. Also, when the Mets are thriving, like you said, they're getting a lot of base hits. They're driving up the pitch count. If you could get to this Dodgers bullpen, I'll be feeling good because that's probably the weak point of this team. They don't know who their closer is. They don't know. Craig Kimbrell has been awful, and it's kind of weird because you thought, oh, he finally rebounded. There's no way he's going to be bad again, and he's just been completely awful for them. And yeah, the bullpen is definitely their weak spot for the team. So if you could get to that, that would be nice. The offense, bad news. There's no easy out at all because even Max Muncy and Joey Gallo are heating up now. So, oh boy.
Why wouldn't they be? Joey Gallo stunk on the Yankees, and now all of a sudden that he's a Los Angeles Dodger, he's cooking up.
Now he's got touched by the cheating lab.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty
But-
little controversial there. Hopefully, no Dodger fans out there. So
Just taking a jab there. But yeah, maybe we'll see. No, I'm not gonna say what I was going to. I'm not gonna say it. But I'll say it. I'll say it after. I'll tell you after. Just remind me.
Yeah, no, I'm curious.
But yeah. So like I said, I'll take 1 out of 3. If you could win 2, even better. I think if you could start off with a win, I'll be feeling very good because you have deGrom on the bump the next day, but will the offense show up? God only knows. But yeah, Bassett is lined up. It looks like to pitch that final game. So you gotta make a statement here. And if you could win this series, even you're really making a statement that hey, we made business here and we're a legit threat.
Oh, I would love that if the Mets could win the series against the Dodgers. They're going to prove a lot of people
pull off a sweep.
Oh,
I don't want to hear fraud Mets ever again. Don't want to hear it.
That would be something that would really bring the attention of all MLB fans if we haven't already. I'm sure, obviously, we have, but if we beat the Dodgers in a sweep, that'll get everyone's attention and make us a real threat. Even though we already are, to be fair, I would say, but just that would be something else.
That would solidify it even further. So yeah, that would be huge. And if you can somehow pull off the sweep, you're now talking a scenario where the Mets could potentially be playing for the number 1 seed. If they could start gathering some more wins, that would be really nice if they could somehow pull that off. Doubt it, but it would be cool to see if they could do it. But that is our quick little preview. So I want to introduce a new little segment here that I probably should have put before we previewed the Dodgers series, but we'll talk about it. Who did you think was the best player during the series against the Rockies?
Against the Rockies, I think I would go with Marcano. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it has to be. He won us that second game. He's just been so good at the plate. He's so disciplined. Everything about Marcano is something. As Eddie Krause, actually, the Kidcaster called him his favorite player. I don't blame him because he's just something for the Mets, and he's really been growing on me these last few months here.
Yeah, and I've been the one that's been beating the drum the longest that he needs to be playing over Tyler Naquin, and finally people are coming around to that on Twitter, which is nice to see. But if I'm going to pick a different player because I want to try to be different here, I'm probably going to go to the pitching side of things. Yeah. And I'm going to go Seth Lugo. I think that he needs to get some appreciation here. In 2 innings total of work, he got 5 strikeouts, and getting out of that bases loaded jam in the close game, absolutely huge for this team that desperately needed to kick things off there with a win as well, especially after the way they played that series against the Yankees. So huge outing there. And then in a close game again, to be as dominant as he was in that 3rd game of the series, to carry off what Peterson started. I got to give some love to Seth Lugo. You could maybe argue that I wish I could say Scherzer, but the Mets didn't score for him, so I can't really say that. But I got to go Seth Lugo. I think that he had a very good series. I agree. It's tough. I wanted to pick Marcano, but I wanted to be different than from picking the same guy there. So I'd probably give some love to Seth Lugo if I had to pick a guy, because if he could get back on track to what we've seen, then this bullpen becomes a lot deeper.
Yeah, for sure. I like the appreciation there for Seth Lugo. He's looking good as of recent, which is a good sign for the Mets. If he could be consistent and we don't have to always rely on guys like Ottavino and Diaz as only reliable people to come in the game, if Lugo could be added to that mix along with McGill, who is going to be back soon. I know we keep saying it, but he'll be back. Then you could throw. Actually, wait, no, you can't even throw the back end starters in the bullpen, right? In the playoffs.
You could throw one of them probably in. You could probably roll 4 starters, but it's going to be, even then, I mean, in a 7-game series, it's going to be difficult to not use all 5 starters at this point with the way that they decided to do the schedule, which again is so moronic, but
Right.
yeah, it's a whole different rant right there.
Yeah, so I mean, look, you'll have Lugo, McGill, Ottavino, Diaz. Hopefully, as your reliable guys. Don't think we could say anything about Michael Gibbons being reliable because he's been nothing short of awful here in New York. And I mean, Joel's been decent, but I just still don't have faith in him either. So Seth Lugo would be huge to start heating up here.
Using the word decent very loosely there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can't give that much love to Joel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can't really, sadly, but yeah. Now let's jump into some questions that I do have lined up for discussion. So, should Beatty play every day, or should he continue the platoon with Escobar?
Want me to go first with this one?
Yeah, because I got a lot to say after. I got a lot.
Well, here's the thing. Beatty, he hasn't been very good. I mean, he's coming in a tough spot. You got to give that to the kid. This is tough. I would roll with Beatty. I think the platoon is just like too much. Eduardo Escobar, I don't care what side of the plate he's on. He's not good. I think you just got to roll with Beatty. I feel like as time goes on, he'll keep getting better and better. He's been good in the field for the most part. And yeah, hopefully his back could start heating up. Hit a couple homers, and he did good yesterday. But yeah, if he could just start being more consistent, I'd rather just roll with Beatty from here on.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I'm gonna try not to lose my mind while doing this, but to me, I'd rather Brett Beatty because if you start playing him every day, chances are better that he's actually going to get into a rhythm here and start to get going versus platooning, which I don't think necessarily works out the best for players because it's harder for them to get hot when they're platooning. And what has Eduardo Escobar done? Does anybody have the answer? Because I sure as hell don't.
I sure as hell don't either.
He's done nothing. He's been a complete waste of money, and he's been useless. And defensively, even too, he cannot play defense. He can't. And I don't know if he's still hurt or not, but if he's going to look like he has ever since even coming off the injured list, I want no part of him playing at all. I want no part of it. He's been just an atrocity. And I don't even know. I don't know how they're going to move that contract even in the offseason at this point, because he's been that bad that I don't know what team is willingly going to take him unless you throw money in there or you throw in a younger player, because he's been that bad. And people wanted to trade JD Davis so fast and wanted Dom Smith out of here so fast. But to me, I look at Eduardo Escobar and say, I'd rather JD Davis. That's how bad Eduardo Escobar has been. I'd rather JD Davis be here. And even with how bad he was playing third base, at least I know I'm getting a better bat at the plate. Eduardo Escobar has been neither.
Yeah.
And you look at his career numbers, everywhere he's gone, he hasn't necessarily been this otherworldly player. He'll have a hot stretch where he goes and gets an absurd amount of home runs, and then he's back down to earth and he's an automatic out.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, but you got to play Brett Beatty. Next, should the Mets reconsider re-signing Brandon Nimmo to a long-term extension? Because he has not been playing good lately, and he has, I forgot what the tweet said, but he has like a 670 something OPS at Citi Field this year.
Yeah, look, this is a tough one too. Depends how much money he'll ask for.
You say it's tough.
I think I know your answer to this one, but I think it's tough. I love me some Brandon Nim. I gotta say, I think he's an excellent player. Great fielder, has speed, has contact, very disciplined at the plate, could give you some pop here and there. But if he's asking for anything more than, what's a number I can even throw out right now? If he's just going overboard on the price, and look, there's going to be better options in free agency probably, like Trey Turner. You can throw him in the outfield now.
Well, or I guess I'm going to answer now. Or there's some guy that's playing across town that's casually just going to win the MVP or casually just going to, who knows, get somewhat close to Barry Bonds' single season home run record. Yeah. Aaron Judge is on the open market in case you couldn't figure out and put together who I was talking about. And Brandon Nimmo, if he's not using that eye and walking, he is useless in that leadoff spot. So I don't even like him leading off right now. Nevertheless, being the everyday center fielder, to me, Aaron Judge is right there. And if you're not going to go out and spend the money on Trey Turner or anyone else, then go out there and get Aaron Judge. And I'm sorry to Brandon Nimmo, but see you later. Or you're going to have to be playing it, or you're going to be hitting lower in the lineup, playing left field every day for this team if you're going to stay. Because I don't know what Boris is even going to use to get Brandon Nimmo the bag this offseason, because he has been atrocious at home, like I mentioned. So I don't know what they're going to do there. And if Brandon Nimmo can't get hot come September, the Mets strongly have to reconsider re-signing Nimmo. I'm sorry, but I think that you have to move on then at that point.
Yeah, look, obviously you're taking Aaron Judge over Brandon Nimmo. I just personally never would see a world where Aaron Judge would come to the New York Mets. Maybe would. I don't think he has that in him to go from the Yankees to the Mets. I feel like that would just be so, like, I can't even put it into words. Like, he would be so hated by the Yankee fans. I think he's gonna stay, but maybe the Giants if he does move. But going to the crosstown rival, I feel like would be something else. And I don't know if he has the balls for that, personally.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's gonna be hard to get Judge here, but money talks. So
yeah, it does. Steve Cohen, throw the bag.
I would, if he's an option, then I'm sorry to Brandon Nimmo, but see you later at that point. But
yeah.
Speaking of this upcoming offseason, Steve Cohen mentioned that he wants to do everything to keep deGrom. Would you do the same? And I know I set up the question, but like, I mean, come on, does a bear shit in the woods here? Like, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Fucking do everything you could to bring back Jacob deGrom. You don't want to see, the last thing you want to see is this guy walk and go to the Atlanta Braves. Now you're facing this guy freaking, how many times do you play the Braves? Like,
thankfully less now, but.
Oh, yeah, but still. You don't want the guy in your division. Yeah, he's the best pitcher in baseball by a mile. When he's healthy, you have to bring him back. Yeah, obviously the health's been a bad problem the last couple of years, but it's Jacob deGrom. Just throw him the bag and hopefully he stays here.
And I'm glad that Steve Cohen said and really pushed that we're going to do everything to keep deGrom, and if he leaves, it's his decision.
He just leaves. Exactly. Like, so, we know we're doing everything in our power here, so if he leaves, it's his decision, and I wouldn't necessarily respect it, but it is what it is, I guess.
I would, for the longest time, I said it, and I now have a different heart with this, because for the longest time, the Mets have just been selling the garbage that, oh yeah, we're a competitive team, when meanwhile you're throwing Michael Wacha as your number 3 starter in the rotation. You're lying. You're lying to everyone. You're not a competitive baseball team when Wacha is your number 3 starter, and you're trying to sell, oh, Rick Porcello won a Cy Young, so he's a great starting pitcher for us. No, you're not fooling anyone with that. So for the longest time, I always said if deGrom leaves, I'd understand it. But now with the way that this team is and with how much better they've been, if deGrom gets the money thrown at him, the same money and everything, or takes even worse, less money to go elsewhere, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be very pissed at deGrom.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if there was a time to leave, it would not be now. The Mets are put in the best position right now. No more Wilpons. They're going out, they're spending money. They actually are a competitive team now. So why would you leave? You're in New York. Everything's going for you. I see no reason why deGrom should leave. A couple of years ago, yeah, go ahead. But now I just don't see it how it makes sense where you'd want to go to like the Braves, the Rangers, something like that.
Yeah, I'd be very mad. Do not make me. Don't ruin the value of the jersey I have right there in that closet. Don't do it, Jake. Please, for the love of God, stay. We don't need to have any more drama with players leaving New York. That's the last thing that I want here. But moving on from that, should the Mets call up Vientos for September, since September call-ups are right around the corner?
Yep. Well, yeah, we were in the spot last week actually. We were talking about Alvarez potentially being called up, and that's out the window now. In terms of Vientos getting called up, I think they should just hold off. You already called up one of your big prospects in Beatty. He's obviously not been great. I'd say you're throwing Vientos in a tough spot. Getting him in September, I would just wait till next season at that point. But yeah, it's a no for me, I would say.
I'm having a tough time because Darren Ruff has been that atrocious that I don't know. That's who I was talking about before when I was saying we were going to mention a player that's been awful. Darren Ruff has been atrocious, and that trade looks completely awful right now. And Darren Ruff, I doubt he's even here next year because Vientos will probably get the full-time right-handed DH spot. But to me, I think you don't have a choice because I would prefer Dom Smith just because of the fact that he could at least play some defensive positions and give you a bit of flexibility there, where Vientos will strictly be a DH. But the problem with Dom Smith is he's a left-handed hitter. So when and where are you getting him into the lineup? Because you're probably still going to play Tyler Naquin over him, unfortunately, but you probably will. And Vogie has to be DHing because Dom Smith is not better than Vogelbach. So where does Dom Smith fit in? That's the only issue I'm having. And in terms of right-handed options, I don't really know who else they could really call up. I mean, are they going to go back to I don't know who they're going to go to, honestly. I can't even think of a name right now for a right-handed hitter to get called up.
Me neither, honestly.
So I'm having a hard time figuring out who else they could. And now with Alvarez on the shelf, I feel like Vientos is the guy, no doubt.
Yep, I respect it. I totally understand if they do call him up. I don't think they will, though, however. See there.
I want to actually see now, like, who are some other options that they could call up, because it's like I'm having a hard time figuring out who. I really am. Because, yeah, are they going to call up Devin Marrero again? No. He can't hit a baseball. Travis Jankowski, maybe. But, again, another guy who's left-handed, so it's like, what's the point? Blankenhorn's been raking there, but, again, left-handed hitter. So I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do, because I don't think Luis Guillorme is going to be ready come the start of September call-up. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
Yep, 100%.
So unfortunately, we do have to have this discussion because of the Mets' struggles. If the Mets follow the wild card, which team would you prefer for them to face? Obviously, you don't want them to play the series, but if you had to pick Phillies, Brewers, Cardinals, or Padres, assuming everything is on the table here, because I don't see a world where they fall to the spot where they could play the Cardinals, but just to throw them out there.
Okay. Yeah, let's hope this scenario doesn't happen, but in a world that it does, I would probably say I would go the Phillies. They haven't seen postseason baseball in forever, and the Mets have been super successful against them this year, going 16-4, I want to say.
I think even better than that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've had their number. I think the Mets would take that. I think they would take the series against all these teams in the wild card. I'd still be very confident if we were a wild card. We happen to be. I think we'd beat all these teams. But if I had a preference, it would probably be the Phillies.
I'm just having a hard time with the Phillies just because of the fact that now Bryce Harper's back, Nick Castellanos is heating up, and yeah, they've had Nolan Wheeler's number, but who knows? Anything can happen in the postseason. So I'm not too sure if I want to face the Phillies. They'd probably be my second choice, though, out of these teams if I had to pick option number one. It's crazy because if you said this at the deadline, you'd sound like a lunatic. But the Padres right now, I mean, Josh Hader has been abysmal, and that bullpen is awful. They have nobody back there to close out a game for them. And if the Mets could get their bats going and knock starters out, they'll smack up on the Padres all day. They don't have anyone in that bullpen who's trustworthy. And if they do bring Josh Hader in, it's lunchtime for the hitters then at that point because he allowed 6 runs to the Kansas City Royals yesterday. Josh Hader has been abysmal. And that lineup, Tatis isn't coming back, so I don't really fear the lineup as much. Brandon Drury's been awful for them. So who do they really have? It's back to square one with them where they have just Manny Machado and sure you added Josh Bell, who's been great for you, and Soto has been pretty solid, sure, but I mean, for the most part, it's not like this Padres team has been what we thought they would be from the deadline.
Yep, I think that's a good pick. Also, that would probably be my second team behind the Phillies. Now you actually, you have me thinking there to go to the Padres because the Phillies, they do have a pretty intimidating lineup if everyone's, in a good state of mind, like just
Plus their
hitting.
bullpen is better. Robertson is better than Hader.
Yeah, look, Castellanos is heating up, as you said. Bryce Harper, who's the prior NL MVP, is back. So, you kind of had me thinking there that the Padres, their bullpen is atrocious. Josh Hader isn't helping that one bit. Tatis, as he said, is not there. So, yeah, I would say probably the Padres. And I think you changed my mind there. And then for the Brewers, their lineup doesn't intimidate me that much. They have good pitching. But, yeah, they would be third for me, definitely. Lineup's not really intimidating. And then the Cardinals, I would have the Cardinals definitely last. I think the Cardinals are a good team and would give maybe a little bit of trouble come October.
Yeah, well, thankfully, the Cardinals are probably way out of the picture considering the fact that they are probably going to win the division. Could be Milwaukee, so that's the only reason that the Cardinals might be in the mix here. But it's looking like the Cardinals have that division locked up for the most part. But yeah, the Brewers, I didn't really mention that much because the chances of the Brewers making the playoffs, nonetheless, them just in general, like with them winning the division, nonetheless making the playoffs, I don't see the chances being that high for the Brewers. So I'm not too sure about Milwaukee in general. So with that, yeah, I'd probably say that I got to go with the Padres. And then, yeah, I agree with the order there. Padres, Phillies, Brewers, Cardinals, if I had to pick in order there. Next up, are you worried about Lindor with him being 1 for his last 21?
I wouldn't get too concerned just yet. He's been bad at the plate as of recently. If it keeps up for another series or two, I'll start getting concerned. But Lindor, he's a really good baseball player. I think he knows how to get himself out of these slumps, and he'll start producing again soon. He's still been phenomenal in the field, but the bat definitely needs to get going otherwise.
Yeah, I agree. And also, we've seen time and time again Lindor step up in big series. You saw him last year against the Yankees. He even looked good this year again. This recent series against the Phillies, he's looked good against the Braves. Lindor, time and time again, has shown up in big series. So I have confidence that he could get it together for this Dodgers series. But if he struggles here, I'll be panicking a bit more. But as of right now, I'm not going to panic too much personally with Lindor also. Now, the last thing that we'll talk about, Nicos trip to CVS. So I need to know, like, were you planning to go to CVS regardless of the outcome of the game, or like, did you go because of the loss and you felt you had to?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, this game was brutal. Like, I go to the one game that just sucked. I mean, there was an ugly win in there in that Colorado series, but I mean, holy, that was the biggest waste of money ever. And I've been cold at Mets games recently. The last one I went to this was my first one in a while. I went to one against the Marlins mid-July. They lost. I went to the one against the Astros. They lost 9-1. So I'm like on a bad losing streak here. So this loss had me fed up. And I did get off the train stop I usually get off on, but there is a CVS. like pretty close to it, so I just had to take the trip, collapse right in the middle of it, make a little bit of a scene. But yeah, thanks New York Mets for causing that one.
I wish you put up a video of you
I
just
should have.
collapsing in the CVS.
That
That would
would
have
be
been great.
great. Get someone to
But
film it. Why not?
that would have been great. Although hopefully, they don't think that you're
A lunatic.
yeah, or they don't think like something's wrong with you or anything. Like,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, very appropriate to take the trip to CVS after that one. That was definitely worthy of the CVS trip. And in case any of you aren't familiar or in on the CVS joke here, to fill you in, it started from, if you're a Ranger fan, you know the account. Like, if you're a Rangers Twitter, you know
this
Base
man.
Chesty. You know Andrew, at Base Chesty on Twitter. He kind of started this whole thing with collapsing at the CVS from just bad losses with the Rangers and the Mets, being that he's a Ranger and Met fan. So that's where the joke kind of started. So if you're listening in on this episode, there you go. You finally understand the joke. And if we're not gonna mention it in future episodes what it means. So you just have to know at this point.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, you know now. And now at this point, if you know, you know. If not, then oh well.
Don't know what to tell you. He's hilarious. He is, man.
He definitely is. So definitely have to give him credit on Twitter, and his you know he's the creator when his Twitter banner is a CVS.
Yeah,
so.
The header is literally a picture of CVS. So click on his account, you'll see it right there.
Yeah, he's crazy. I mean, this guy, when the rain, I forgot actually what happened, but he ended up jumping into the ocean after. I think it was like, if the Rangers win this game or something, I'll jump in the ocean or something. Like, I don't remember, but
I want to say it was that Senators comeback. Could be wrong, but the one early in the season against Ottawa, I think if we came back, he said he was going to jump in the ocean. I want to say. So that's pretty funny there.
Yeah, and then he ended up doing it. He's a man of his word, too.
He is.
Absolutely. We love Andrew here, and we're hoping that during the playoffs, we're gonna get some Brave slander hours from his Twitter account too. Man. That would be that'd be great. I wish you would be. I wish you'd tweet them during the season too. Like, come on, I want some Brave slander hours. I want some Philly slander hours.
Same,
I wish he would, but regardless, we love Andrew here, so shout out to him. But yeah, so we had to mention the CVS trip, of course. But
100%.
Do you have anything else to say before we close out the episode?
I don't really have much to say. Just pray this series. I think I am going tomorrow. You said you're going Tuesday?
Yeah.
Or wait, no, Wednesday, right?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, you're going tomorrow?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So hopefully we'll see each other there.
Where are you sitting?
My friend got the tickets. I think it's like left field, the 200, something like that. These were hard tickets to get. Like this game's insane, so everyone's gonna be wanting to go. Are you by the first baseline? I feel like
yeah, I'm gonna be up in the 300s on the first baseline, so I'll be up there. So we'll both be in the 300s. Just you'll be on the other side.
Yeah, different sides of the field there, but we'll meet. We'll find a way to meet up, and hopefully 1 out of 3 we said. I would love 2 out of 3, and then a sweep. I'll go crazy.
Yeah, that'd be great, and we'll definitely also have to head up a game at some point.
Down the stretch here.
Get a vlog here for the channel. Why the hell not?
Great.
So, that's gonna be where we end things now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The next one, what's the schedule looking like? I want to know what we have in terms of time to record. My guess would be, I mean, honestly, we'll probably just do it after this series, just because then the Mickey Mouse schedule comes up. Yep. Yeah, because the next off day's out for a while, so we'll probably record after the series, especially because get a nice afternoon game there, and then we probably from the Nationals and the Pirates series won't record until that off day, just because it's the Nationals and the Pirates. I mean, you should be beating up on them, so I don't think there's going to be anything unless something catastrophic happens, which hopefully not in those 3 games. We probably won't be recording until then. So, we'll be recording though after the Dodgers series for sure. So, yeah. Do you have anything else to add with this episode?
Yeah, no, not really. I think covered everything we needed to. Let's go Mets. And we're down the stretch here. So it's getting interesting for sure.
Yeah, crunching time here. September baseball. It's gonna start getting crazy here, and last month of regular season baseball. So I'm excited. So that's gonna be it for us. Remember to check out Manscape, check out Tech Pick. Link is in the description for both of those. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're listening on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple, leave us a review. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Mets.